Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, whoever you are and wherever you are. Today is 14th of July, if I'm not sorry, 14th of June. My mistake there. Let me check back. Yeah, it's 14th of June, 2026. Uh, and I'm just gonna keep it short, to the point. Uh, FIFA World Cup is in the heat. Now, of course, being in the United States and well, I live in across the other side of the world. The World Cup is held during the time where I have to go to work. It's early in the morning. It's actually 24 hours different between here and there, so it's not feasible to watch online or live. Uh, so yeah, pretty much this time of the FIFA World Cup will be very um, missed out for me. So I'm just gonna see the result. If it's a very interesting one, then probably I'll just watch a rerun of how the game's being played. Yeah, it's sad to say that the World Cup is held in the United States, land of capitalism, and I have predicted this last year that the tickets are going to be exorbitantly expensive, six figures in US dollars, for the best seat. Even the lousiest seat available will be five figures. I haven't seen anything right now at four figures, but yeah, tickets like this should be around hovering, should be no more than 300 US dollars. I would say my price. Some people might also disagree and might say it's too high, but yeah, but at this current state, in the land of capitalism, in the land where scalping is legal, yeah, it's pretty darn expensive. People buy tickets and make a living out of it, uh, by reselling the tickets. So uh, now that we see that Pokemon cards and so forth, there are more scalpers everywhere. Any antiquity products, they will buy it and then they will sell it for a higher price. So yeah, that won't be a great time for that. And expecting the same in 2028. Los Angeles will be hosting, wink wink, the Olympic Games. Project to see the same problem on that time of that year, where the things are gonna go more expensive. It's not only the game tickets expensive, but also the hotels are getting expensive there. They just inflated the price exorbitantly. There's no cap or moral capitalism exists. They just max out whatever they can squeeze and make profit out of it, just for the sake of the stakeholders. Fuel prices gone up, of course, because fuel consumption is in demand, where people are traveling and so forth. Even the public transport going to the stadium, by right they're not supposed to increase fare, but based on what I have heard in the news, they have increased the price exorbitantly. Special train rides, because they say that they have to increase the manpower, the workforce, paying the resources. I mean, it's, to me, it's kind of bull crap on that part, but anyway, it is what it is, as I would say. So the best choice is to sit at home. You don't need to go to the stadium to watch the game unless you're a fanatic fan for it. Even if you're fans, let's say that I'm a fan for Iran, a team. Okay, if I'm an Iranian going to America just to see the game, not just to be not because I want to be a refugee and scamming people, most probably they are default they're being refused. So I think it's a really bad situation. Uh, how they treat the players, how they treat the referees, and recently controversial is a referee who is from Somalia. It's not even a war conflict zone that the world know, although they are in a crisis. Somalia is in crisis. They have pirates, which indiscriminately they pirate every single ship crossing the Gulf of Aden, uh, just so that they can survive. And one of the best Africa's referee for football, and not soccer, but football, you know, is is just it's just ridiculous. Refusing him to enter. What, worried that he becomes refugee? What, worried that he's gonna bomb the stadium? I mean, it's a little bit. I think the government has gone hysterical. United States government and its immigration, its eyes has gone hysterical on this situation, and God, that I have no required relationship with United States for me, so I have no obligation or need to acquire to enter United States anytime soon. That's my hope and dream actually, to visit New York City and Washington DC. I've been to LA. That was when I was a kid, and I did become a refugee, so I came back to my country. Well, what's the harm in going there? I mean, those are still in my bucket list. Probably I won't go anytime soon. United States, my own holiday, or you Americans call it vacation. I call it holiday. Yeah, beats me when I'm gonna go there, and hopefully, when Americans come back to the reality of the world, and rejoin the arms of friendship of the globalized world, I'll put all on that of my holiday to United States. Probably I'll go Canada or Mexico. Who knows? Yeah, that's a sidetrack that I'm discussing at the moment. FIFA World Cup is now on. FIFA is supposed to be there, but controversial. A lot of it has been there. When the American flag was raised out in the game, they are being booed. Oh yeah, today is Sunday, which beats me. Happy birthday, Mr. Donald Trump. I believe today is his birthday, Sunday, or June 14th. So yeah, happy birthday to him for being 80 years old, and I hope he's not senile, and able to perform his duty as a president. You know, when he judged people else that it is too old to be president, and senile, and so forth. Now he's in the age of senile. Let's hope he's not senile with the nuclear button on his thumb. Anyways, that is on the sidetrack of that, and I hope America a best of luck till the November election this year, and I pray the census Republican, hopefully they have a political leaders that is genuinely back to the traditional conservatism, fighting for America rather than fighting for a mega America. So I hope conservatisms and conservative people, traditional ones, Republican type, at least Reagan type of Republican ideology, party or faction, we call it, come back to their senses, to serve America more proper. So yeah, that's all I said. I can say all that. Now, today's video, I would like to say is, I just recently got this note. Now, if you are subscribers who are active watching my short clips, the 1 minute clips that I do every day, you notice that I've moved into Middle Eastern of my collection, just past the Saudi Arabia of my collection, and then right now at the moment I'm looking through my Afghanistan collection. Now there are not many, they're not organized, they're quite random pieces, but I try to understand that I got that set, I try to complete that set, and of course, luckily, they are considered as inexpensive collection, especially Afghanistan, so they're not really expensive. Yeah, so in that sense that today I just went to the flea market again, visiting some shops. Then I have in mind there are a few gaps of items that I notice it pops up in my mind that is missing different variations and so forth. So today I went to the flea market and my one of my mind sweep list of things was Saudi Arabia and Afghanistan. So I have four notes that I got today. They're really inexpensive. They're all, I can say bravely, total is under, I would say under 30 ringgit. That's about less than $10. So with just $10, I'll, I bought four of these notes. They are inexpensive notes, but they're the notes that I feel that I need and require to fill in those variation gaps. And these are the two countries that I just recently gone through and just recently fresh in my mind that I need them in my collection. So first off, I will go through the Saudi Arabia ones. I got both of these notes from a dealer. Of course, South. South. Saudi Arabia's collection of mine is not many. They are quite scattered too. So, and condition wise, I don't really focus on the condition. In my objective for Saudi Arabia, I try to get as inexpensive notes and different variation as I could. And needless to say, these two notes I paid. I would say I paid a little bit more to the dealers. Could have made it cheaper, but of course I know I will be insulting the dealers and so far I try not to offend it. Do I know how much it costs? No. Do I know how much is face value? Yes. Do I know that these dealers are making obscene money or profit based on this face value and the actual value of his condition? Yes, absolutely. Did I bargain it? Yes, I did bargain it. Did I roll ball until to the rock bottom? No. That would be immorally wrong. That would be immorally wrong for me to do that. Everybody got to eat. Okay? Everybody got to put food on the table. Pay the bills. Okay? I don't lowball them to the bottom. Okay? I try my best, really best, and I get a deal where I could afford. Now at that time when I'm making a deal, I didn't see through how much is fair. Collector's value is. But to me, I'm just looking at face value. I do know how much it is. Each one Riyal is about, wow, face value today in ringgit. Malaysia ringgit is about 1 ringgit and 10 or 20 cent. No more than that. I don't stretch the ballpark. Okay, so bought two is supposed to be 2 ringgit and 20 or 40 cent. Now, story goes like this. I got them each for 6 ringgit. That's how low I lowball them to 6 ringgit. Okay, the original price the dealer was asking for was 10 ringgit each. Now that to me is obscene. Actually, in my mind, I was thinking I want to lowball them to 4 ringgit, but that is more than half of what the dealer is asking. So definitely there's a rejection there, and put a sour face on them, and they just don't want to deal with me at more, wasting time and their resources. So I don't want to go more than half. I could go to half, but Bing Bong Bang probably will refuse it. So I make quick judgment. I just go low down to 40%. So I went to 6 ringgit each, and instantly the lady was accepted. So deal was made, and I got them for 6 ringgit, which some of you might say that looking at this condition is not uncirculated condition, is really used, but among all this collection they are quite good. I would say the two notes, there are no tears, they are used, they're faded, the color is faded. So definitely a sign of usage, obviously stain stay marked on notes. $10 was too much. I told her $10 is too much for such a condition. So I gave the one offer 6 ringgit and she accepted it. And to me, 6 ringgit is quite justifiable because these notes are very quite old notes. They're still current notes that can be used in Saudi Arabia. That's why I market them as 1 ringgit and 10 more, maximum 1 ringgit and 20 cent. But collector's value probably is more than that. Probably about 4 ringgit, 3 ringgit. I'm not too sure at the moment what the market is. Price it for fine to very fine condition price. So yeah, it's around that F or VF condition. That's about 20 to 30 for its condition wise, both of them. So yeah, not really splendid condition, but something to fill up my gap. And for me, in collecting unprioritized country banknotes such as Saudi Arabia, I kind of put it really low ball, low standard on that when I look for banknotes. So I'm not looking for high end banknotes. Like for example, the Japanese one is different. I will be looking for the better condition, the best condition on the option, and within my budget, of course. This one for me, both of them, I bought them for 6. That's 12 ringgit. It's almost $2 worth. It's like about $3 worth of products here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's about $3 worth of products here. So it's not that expensive. $3 is like a cheapest meal of lunch I could get and just not eat. That's it. So it's not worth a lot of money. It's cheap. I mean, it's inexpensive to collect things, especially banknotes. It doesn't need to be really expensive, like you have to go hundreds and thousands of ringgit kind of considered as a collection. Even a basic one like this can become a collection. There are some collectors I know, they just collect every country in the world they can find different notes, but in the smallest denomination, like 1 ringgit, 1 Riyal, 1 euro, 1 US dollar, 1 Canadian dollar, 1 Australian dollars, 1 Singaporean dollars, 1,000 yen, or 1 renminbi. So I have seen some of these collection that entire folder has a world's countries banknotes, but they're all just only the smallest denomination of it. Collecting banknotes, collecting trading cards, collecting coins, there are many objectives, there are many ways. There are no correct way of collecting. The correct way, I would say, if you're looking for the answer, is what do you want to collect? What do you want to have in your collection that pleases your heart and mind and soul? And to me, I like to collect a lot of countries, and I have a kind of addiction to collecting. If I collected this set, I try to complete the entire denomination of the set, unless it is ultra rare or ultra expensive. Then I consider that I skip ahead and move on to the next version or sets of series for that country. Countries that are interested, that I want to collect, I will collect them. Like Afghanistan and Saudi Arabia is in my spot list, but they are at the lowest list. The top tier list for me in my collection personally is Japan, China, United States, and then these are my top 3 countries that I am in my objective in collecting. Beyond that, it depends on the condition. Beyond that, depends on what kind of notes like that I wanted to collect. Like recently, I have purchased Bhutan commemorative banknotes for Bhutan, and that is just beautiful, and it becomes part of my collection. And that's how I collect my banknotes. So yeah, okay. Now, why do I have this 2 Saudi Arabian notes? Now, if you see my video, my short 1-minute clip video, I already presented this notes, but not this variation. that variation is actually different here. If you notice, if you look at the catalog book, these notes have a few variation. The variation is because the signature is different and the year it was issued is different. So I got the other one, if I'm not mistaken, is 2007. So these two, if you notice the year, they are different. Also, this is 2012 and this is 2009. The one I have it a few days back when I presented in the 1 minute video is 2007. Now that was the first issue. This is the second issue and then the third issue. They're all in a different signature. If you can look closely at the bottom, it has a different signature of a person, and it written in Arabic is in a different year. Okay, this is written the Hijrah year, which is the Islamic calendar year, is written here is different. Okay, and so yeah, two identical notes, okay, but they're different as the signature of the person and also the year it was issued. This is 2009 and this is 2012. So I noticed that I have only one variation and there are quite a number of variations out there. So I attempted to find the other variation and I managed to find from this person having two of these variation. I got just out of my mind, knowing the price I paid. Why not just stack it and keep it in my collection? Condition wise, I would say not really great. For modern notes after the year 2000, for such a condition, is normally people think, hey, you can do better than this. As a collector, a numismatic collector, a Notaphily, you can do better than that. Yeah, it's true, but again, collecting has no right or wrong. It's all about fulfilling what you desire, and my desire is to fulfill to create to collect all the variation I could get, not the condition. So if I'm talking about condition, it will be different. It was much longer, slower, and more capital needs to fit in for my collection. Until then, I'm quite satisfied with Saudi Arabia for my collection to have all the variation if I could, and not to overspend my money or my capital vastly too much. So yeah, inexpensive, 6 ringgit each, two different variation of Saudi Arabia, one Riyal, one is 2009 and the other one is 2012. So kind of very fulfilling towards me, to me, to have this two note in my collection. Now the other two notes that I got is Afghanistan. Now today and over the past few days, I've been presenting Afghanistan collection. Now, not many people actually collect Afghanistan banknotes. Not many, I would say, collects Middle East banknote collection. Actually, you could consider as a exotic collection for its viewpoint. But yeah, Afghanistan is one of those really considered as the exotic collection. Not many people would collect it, and even myself, I don't have a full collection of the Afghanistan, and that is why it jogged my mind when I went to my another dealer who has some of the country's collections. If he's a guy that I like to go there, he's the go-to guy. If you have specific countries you're looking for, he might have it because he has organized his products from according to countries. So it's easy to find the country that you want. So every time when I approach him, I just say hi and what country I'm looking for. So today I went to him again. Normally I don't go to him because I don't have a specific country or specific note I'm looking for. So today I had something in my mind, so I have specific country. So I just tell you I'm looking for Afghanistan. So I just flipped through the Afghanistan folder and some notes came out that I think that I should have. Now Afghanistan normally in my objective collection is slightly different from Saudi Arabia. Number one, all the banknotes in Afghanistan, especially the ones that before America kicks in, they are vastly inexpensive notes. Vastly inexpensive. You can spend you actually could spend 50 ringgit just to collect one set of its series. So it's really inexpensive. So likewise, I got these two notes. One note is actually the one different variation that I think is significantly needed in my collection, not just for the sake of the variation, actually. So my objective for Afghanistan is different than Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, everything is exactly the same. The only difference is the person who is changing on the management, who signs it, and the year was printed is different. Now, certain people collect variation much more differently, and here are those two variations that I'm trying to explain. This variation collection is when they are different year issuance. Everything the same, signature, the person is different. It's similar to America. When you change your president, when you change your secretary of the treasury and the is it governor, if I'm not mistaken, what do you call them? Uh, uh, it's basically like what do you say? Treasury of the state and the secretary of treasury. When something like that in America, when you change it, the series actually change. The year of the series is changed. Then you have the A series and then the B series, and then when the cabinet of the secretary of treasury is changed, it goes back to reset the year he was in. Those are the variations I'm talking about for the Saudi Arabia. For the Afghanistan, the way I collect Afghanistan is much more different. The variation I'm looking for is the physical of the note change. It's different. That is why I'm facing the back, reverse, because what I want to show is, if you look at this note, everything looks really the same. Signature probably the same. I think probably this will be different. Of course, they have variation, different year printout. But for me, in Afghanistan notes collection, for me, I'm not going to collect just because they're printed in different years or different signatures. But this one, I bought another one. It's just because the print was different. If you look closely with the collection that is the DA, the Afghanistan Bank, if you notice here, they are joined together. See that? You see the outlining here? They joined together with the small a and the upper A casing. The lower A casing and the upper A casing is joined. If you look at my video, I think 2 days back. This note, the upper casing A and the lower casing A, they are actually separated. Okay, they are separated. You can go back to the video that I recently uploaded 2 days back for Afghanistan, 10,000 Afghanis. You will notice that in the clip you'll see that these two A's are actually not joined. They are not connected. Okay, they are separated. Okay, this is much more newer note. That one was the older note. So they eventually changed is that they join it together, because the back, the Afghanistan Bank, the N and the B, the first one issued, they were actually joined together. So it makes sense when they reprint it for next year or so. They decided the design, they just tweak a little, but by having the DA joined together with all the words, making the outline as one. Okay, that's how they roll the ball on it. So that is the reason I collect Afghanistan in the variation type, is because design conflicts, not because the signature change, not because of the year different. Totally different variation of collection compared to the way I collect in Saudi Arabia. So different again. So what I'm trying to say is different ways of collecting. Many people have different ways of collecting. I pick and choose. Each country is how I have my objectives, and some people have it one agenda. As I said just earlier, some people want to collect the whole entire world because of the very exotic their variation design of each country. But rather than collecting all the banknote, you just collect one singular denomination in the collection, so that they don't get pinched on their finance, or they don't get pinched on their soul. Where they look at it, they don't feel satisfied. So when you're collecting anything, basically banknotes, coins, stamps, trading cards, sports cards, anything you collect, models, and anything you collect, you gotta fulfill a few things in to sustain in collecting. One, your capital. Do you have enough capital to run a long game in collecting it? Two, does the collection satisfy your heart, your soul? Okay, these are the things that you need to sustain. This is the reason why you collect them. And number three, do you have the time and understanding on collecting the notes, or collecting the coins, or collecting the stamp, or collecting bank trading cards? Okay, these are things that you need to go through so that you understand them, understand the material, and then does it fulfill your heart, and does your finance capable of sustaining your collection? Now I have a previously in the past, when I started collecting banknotes, the very first comment that my dad actually told me, and tried to tell other people, that I have a very expensive, among all the hobbies that I could have picked, I have to pick the expensive hobby. That was my dad told me. You have to pick the expensive hobby. It's true. When we talk about banknotes, okay, banknote represents the wealth that has been used on that day, and banknotes are the ones have high denomination in their currency. You know, coins are normally in a smaller denomination, so they don't worth much unless they are become obsolete and became a collector's item, such as like the gold coins because of the materials, rare coins because they were destroyed or nearly impossible to find. That raises the demand and the value of it. Now that is a different ballpark we're talking about, but generally across the collection, when you collect banknotes, the denomination of those notes value, actually face value of it, is high. So you already started in an expensive area of it. So that's the common sense when my dad actually digests why. I mean, when I pick my collection when I was a kid, as a teenager, started collecting banknotes, and the very first comment that I got from my dad is, I picked the most expensive hobby. You know, pick the most expensive hobby. And to today, I do eat that word. It does eat my capital. So that is why I put the golden rule. You have the capital, enough capital to sustain you long term in collecting. So if you know how much you could spend in your hobby, then you know what objective to set on your collection. So that's how I actually manage my collection. Sometimes there's a collection that I wanted, I will save up my capital, and hopefully nobody buys it. When time comes, I have the capital, I'll get it. Just like that one. Like that one. That one. You did that? So those of you who are in America, you know that note is a star note. So star note in America is, yeah. That's another video another time. But I do have another video that is long time last year. It's one of my most proud moment of notes achievement. I got that note and graded it. Also very proud of it. Is PMG. If I'm not mistaken, there's only 3 graded in the entire world. 3 or 4 numbers of it is graded, and don't exist in the world for PMG, of course, just PMG. So I'm quite proud of my $50 note that I have there. I think end of the day I would be putting that in the safe deposit box every time soon. So yeah. Anyway, back to Afghanistan. So after I explained why I got this note, so I'll just go through, run it through. This is a 10,000 Afghani note, same as what I just presented 2 days back. Nothing different other than the design of this A are joined together. Normally they are separate. Well, the one that I have is separate. So this one is actually joined together, I think. Okay, I know. But I forgot that there. If I got them to duplicate, I will be gone. I'll be dead done. But it's okay. How much I bought this note? For best price, 9 ringgit and 90 cent. That's right, 9 ringgit and 90 cent. I got this note for 9 ringgit and 90 cent. That's basically 10 ringgit. 10 ringgit is about, I would say, 4. How much would that be? It'll be 1, 2, 3. You know, less than about $3. It'll be less than $3 US. So it's really inexpensive note to collect. And this is one of the, at that time, is the highest denomination. 10,000 Afghani is one of the biggest denomination they have. I haven't seen anything that's more than 10,000 Afghanis. But this note is before US invaded Afghanistan, before George W. Bush, directed to invade Afghanistan. This note exists. Then after that, when Afghanistan was liberated, they have a government, different government. There is American, considered as like American puppet and so forth. Those notes are a little bit more valuable. They have more same denomination. They have up to, I think, 10,000 Afghanis, but they have much more expensive than this, which is much more worthless. And then now they have been taken over back by the same people that printed this generation of this note, and again back to Taliban. So yeah, how the world go run. And truly, Afghanistan earned the nickname the graveyard of empires. The only empires that haven't even went there and be defeated is China. So we'll wait and see if China is taking the same step, or if they're really smart, they'll make a good diplomatic ties with Afghanistan, but a limited way of diplomacy to maintain order. Okay, so they won't end up as a member of the graveyard of empires in Afghanistan. So yeah, 10,000 Afghanis. Everything is the same. Everything is there's not different. Probably the signature will be different, but the major one, the reason I collected this variation, is just this part here. The A is there for it. That's all. Nothing much. Just the A's that join together. So that's one. So this costs 9 ringgit and 90 cent. Really inexpensive note. Now I noticed in my collection for this one is 5,000 Afghanis. 1993 Afghanistan 5,000 uncirculated condition. It cost me 7 ringgit and 80 cent. That's all. 7 ringgit and 80 cent. Uncirculated condition, unmolested, still vibrant colors, unused. Proud to say probably above 60, but won't dare to say it's above 65. But yeah, really nice note, mint condition I would say, for public usage. So yeah, very nice note. The reason I bought this one actually is because I don't have 5,000. If you notice that I went from this one 10,000, and then suddenly the next day I moved down, the denomination is 1,000. I Most of you probably think that I skipped 5,000. The reason is I didn't have the 5,000. So thinking about it, hey, why not get the 5,000 today? Just to fill up the gaps of the denomination that I'm missing. And I hope that it's not expensive because it's the second largest denomination. But knowing that today I went and bought, it's just this, the biggest denomination was about 10 ringgit, 9 ringgit 90 cent. The smaller denomination will be cheaper, and it is 7 ringgit and 80 cent. That's almost like $2. That's almost less than $2 actually. $2 cheap. And again, being worthless at that time, hyperinflation economy at that time really does hit Afghanistan economically very badly, and that's why their currency became worthless. Now, a little talk about Afghanistan. They practice really, really strict Islamic laws. I mean, down to it. Every single law that rule the land in Afghanistan are all subject to Islamic laws. So for those of you who want to know, what happens if a country rule under Islamic law, Afghanistan is the best way to see. Even Saudi Arabia don't follow exactly 100% from the Quran or from the Hadith, exactly the Islamic teaching. They still have a circular, not majority of their law, but some of the laws are mixed. So that, like for driving licenses, now that women are allowed to drive, women are allowed to have education, those are a little bit to them. In this part of the world is a secular mindset or Western idea of implementing laws that is different from their traditional religious affair laws. So many of the modern countries that a lot of West have worked with, especially like my country, in Malaysia, in Indonesia, in Bangladesh, Pakistan, I would say in a certain degree, and most of the Western countries like UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Oman, they kind of have a lot of their laws implemented in the Western style. But of course, some of the really religious laws are still implemented in this country. For example, it is illegal to conduct adultery, especially like Indonesia. Those are implemented based on the religious laws. Homosexuality is illegal. I don't know about lesbians, but definitely they focus on man to man is illegal. It is heretic to a certain extent, people would say. Yeah. So some laws they do apply, but when you go to Afghanistan, they prescribe their laws of the land very strictly, 100% according to their religious texts. Now, why I say that is not related to any banknotes? Why? Come on, man, Ronan, why are you talking about that? It's because the banknote reflects that. You notice that in the banknote, there's no idol of people, like the main people, like how did Iran did. Okay, Iran, they will put their supreme leader in their portrait or effigies on the banknote. Afghanistan avoided that. They put architecture, they put mosque on the picture. Now they have some banknotes that don't depict people. I mean, do depict people, but those are the reflection of the community, not to say that to praise the person on the banknote. Okay, Saudi Arabia banknote has the effigy or the portrait of the king of the Saudi Arabia. Okay, For Afghanistan, they don't do that. They don't put the head of the Taliban's portrait on the banknote like what Iran did or Saudi Arabia did. No, they don't do that. That's because of the way of life and how they prescribe their way of life in Islamic laws. So this is how I see when you have a banknote, you can look through the banknote and translate it or prescribe that into the country's way of life. Okay, this is how I get fun from banknotes. Understanding through banknote is understanding through how the country works, and banknotes do that because it is planned reversely, that the banknote should reflect how the country is. And this is a banknote that's printed during the Taliban time. They want to prescribe and transcribe into their country exactly image they want it to be. Language wise, I believe the majority of the country's population is Bangladesh. They speak Arabic, so the front one is the mainly all Arabic words. I do know this is 5 and 3 zeros. I mean, Arab numerics, I kind of know some of those Arab numerics. Like this is 2, 5, this is 7 also. 1, 1, 2. I do know some of the numerics in there. And again, images of humans are devoid. Now, mostly you thought, hey, this could be the banknote that is transcribing image here. One moment, please. Oh, sorry. One moment. Just need to charge power. Need electricity. Oh, you're being cut off. So, we're back again. Sorry about that. Now, most of you think this is a effigy. Yeah, here's the watermark of the human head of the Taliban. Head of the Taliban or head of the president of the country of the of Afghanistan. Actually, is no. If you look at it, it is the symbol or the emblem of the bank, the Afghanistan Bank. Really smart of them, the Afghanistan Bank. So again, no human. There's no portrait of a head of the Taliban or any here, human heads in here. That's a reflection of what that's being preached in the in Islamic teaching. Nobody should idolize a person on a head. Now, it's not to say that you cannot put a person in there totally, but they do have put a human way of life. Those are okay because there is a picture of telling the time of the people and the society. That's fine, but putting a leader's head to worship the leaders, to admire or idolize a leader, that is forbidden. It is halal. Okay, it is forbidden to do that. So that's why in their banknotes in Afghanistan they refer it in that way. Reverse side is in English. Okay, they're written in English. The Afghanistan Bank. The another English word for the Afghanistan Bank is Central Bank of Afghanistan. Okay, Central Bank of Afghanistan. But to them, they actually utilize it in their official way of saying it, the Afghanistan Bank. I always think about it, the is the Afghanistan Bank. But I'm not too sure. But this is actually from their own language from the Pradesh, so I won't really think that. Now the watermark again is just a watermark of the bank emblem, so no humans behind. Again, the portrait of a landscape view of a mosque, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, but they didn't write anything to say what's the name of it. So probably, if you're Afghanistan looking at this portrait, you know what mosque it is. But to foreigners, they are outsiders, Afghan people. We don't know what it is. So this is how they transcribe their banknotes. They know that majority of people don't care is a mosque or what. They just care about how much this banknote worth, so they can use the money and pay for or exchange for services or goods. It is not in the sense to extremely welcome tourists to Afghanistan. They try their best to meet the minimum function of the note. everyone can understand how much this note is, and it was printed by what bank. That's it. Kaput. It's done. So during that time, the Taliban fulfilled all the required minimum requirement for any foreign non-Afghanistans to use this banknote or understand this banknote. So they keep it as minimum as possible. Most of the information are on the front. You can see a lot of the Arabic words are written here. The serial number of this note is in Arabic. There's not in English. Ounce of the numerics in the translated to Latin. So nothing right is written there is the number that we recognize. So yeah. So everything is in that sense. Information also everything is in the own native language. At the back, if you are non-native English, you just need to know this is printed by the Afghanistan Bank. Issued by the Afghanistan Bank, and it's worth face value of 5,000 Afghanis. That's it. That's all you need to know. No human idling on the banknote. Truly prescribe that they follow their religious laws really strictly. And to give it up here, 10,000, same thing, as you can see there. At the back, background, no human. Okay, background again is the symbol of the bank. So yeah, that's how they transcribe their banknotes. Really not. The way they design the banknote is quite simple, really nice. The intaglio print, I like the patterns here running through. It's really beautiful. For a country run by Taliban, the banknote is actually really beautiful. The color mismatch as a security feature, having a gradient of different colors here, is actually really nice. Especially for me, when I look at the 5,000, looks really like rainbowish color, but it is really beautiful compared to a really monotonous colors and so forth, like just green like there's a variation of tone green. You have different variation colors. You have light green, and then you have the orange, and then gone to a bit pinkish color, including the intaglio print. They've gone through the same position of patterns, so it does get the color gives depth and quality of the notes. So it's really nice. I would say the way they design the notes, it's really nice. The front looks nice. The back looks simplistic. It's just really simple. Looks pale in color wise. Like almost like the Iraq's banknotes. But anyway, the back is quite basic. The front is where they wanted to present, and a lot of people will be looking at. So the front part is spot on. The design way of the front is really spot on. It meets the requirement of the Taliban's government at that time needs. It was printed in 1993, so they fulfill the required needs. Of what they want. So yeah, banknote wise, this is how they have printed during that time. These are both 1990s, before America enters the Afghanistan war, and this is after liberated from the Soviet Union. And that's it. That's all the news that I have for today. Thank you very much for you guys watching this video. If you have any comments or anything that I make a mistake, do put in the comments. If you like this video, just give me a thumbs up and give me a like. And those of you who just recently viewed this channel, if you want to catch more of my future videos and my daily upload of 1-minute clips of my banknote collection, do subscribe. Anything like that? Nope. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you real soon. Bye.